Well, I guess it's just a guest room now. This was Michael's room, but it's empty now. Hi, I'm Chris. I live in Frisco, Texas with my husband James and our two dogs. And recently we just wrapped up hosting our fifth foreign exchange student in our home here. And I talked about that in our last video, kind of what that year was like. And he's gone home now, and I just thought it would be good to maybe do a little bit of a recap of a few things. First was our decision to host. We had already hosted 4 students. The second is, how were we actually matched with Michael specifically, and then what were our early communications with him like, and then his arrival and sort of getting settled in when he got here, and getting into a routine. So that's what we're going to cover in this video. The first part of that is the decision to host again. After our 4th exchange student, Simon, went home, we'd had a lot of good experiences. All of our experiences have been good. We didn't think we were going to host again. We weren't planning to. We actually had said to ourselves, "No, that's the last one. I don't want to take a risk that the next exchange student might be a bad experience for us. So let's quit while we're ahead. Let's go out on a high note. We had a great year with Simon, so let's just cap it off there." But then, we had a year off already, and it got to be May of 23, and some of our friends their kids were graduated from high school, and all that pageantry that goes on with high school graduation was happening around us, and we were starting to miss our kids. In particular, our friend Michelle, her daughter Grace graduated, had a party, and it really made us think about how we missed having teenagers around. And we decided, I think pretty much that weekend, that we were going to go ahead and host again. So we started looking at profiles. Our host agency is called International Student Exchange, or ISE, and so we looked at some of the profiles, and the profiles that we look at, we sort them by, they either have indicated that they want to come to Texas, or that they're willing to go anywhere, basically. These exchange programs allow the students to give a guide as to where they want to go, and a lot of them want to go to New York City, or they want to go to Los Angeles, or just California in general, or Florida in general. Sometimes people have very specific destinations they want to go for whatever reason. So we are looking at a subfilter of students that have already said they wanted to go to Texas, or were willing to go anywhere, basically. Also, I mentioned that I live with my husband James. We're a same-sex couple, and so they have to have already pre-selected that they were comfortable with a same-sex household. So we were looking at those kinds of profiles, and we look at things like their grades, how good their English is. We like the sport kids, and their overall profile. They write a letter, they talk about their motivations and reasons for wanting to do an exchange, and sometimes they do a short video. In this case, Michael had done a short video. We indicated we wanted to match with him, and that happened. And once that happens, then he and his family receive our profile. They are able to review our profile and decide whether or not they think that we would be a good fit for them. So happily, they said yes, they accepted that. And we fired off a very excited email to make some basic introductions, and we exchanged our social media information, our phone numbers, and we started communicating, talking about his likes and dislikes, what he wanted to do, what his goals were, what he hoped to achieve while he was here, and that helps us to get ready and get prepared to receive him and make plans for the sorts of places we want to take him, the sorts of things we want to do with him. We had a couple of video calls. We had a video call with him and his parents, and then we had subsequent video calls with just him. It's just more of that getting to know you, and we hope that, since we've done this a few times, we've learned that it really helps a bit to have some of those communications early on, so that it gets their jitters away. It helps them to become less nervous about the trip and to make meeting us. I mean, remember, they're leaving their home and their family and their culture and their school and friends for 10 months, and so we try to make them more comfortable and get to know them a little bit. So That was all going on very well. We were very excited. It really was affirming our decision to host again, and we were getting super excited. There wasn't a lot of time. There's a deadline for May 31st with our school, and so from the time of Grace's graduation and our deciding to host again, we had very little time to select a student and to get matched, and we were very fortunate that that was able to happen. And as part of that overall process, every exchange family has to be vetted, and you have to have references, and you have people from the program come and visit you, and they'd run criminal background check and all that kind of stuff. But one of our references are our friends Brian and Randy, and they've also hosted several students, 4 students I think, and they got contacted by the agency to dust off their reference, and they immediately called us and said, "Hey, you're hosting, we want to host too." And so James sent over the profile for that's Max, and they selected Max straight away, and so he ended up coming over as well. And he's the one that you'll see if you watched my last video. You would have seen another student multiple times, and that was Max. So Michael and Max ended up being very close. Brian and Randy are some of our closest friends. So we do a lot of things together. It's a lot of fun for us to do things with them and with their student and ours. We did a lot of things together, and so we got to know Max pretty well also, and you'll learn more about Max in another video. As it happened, just before arrival, which was around the first week of August, Brian's mother ended up getting very ill, and they had to leave town, and they weren't here when Max arrived. So we were fortunate enough to be able to pick up Max from the airport on the day he arrived, which was the day before Michael arrived on August 4th. But in leading up to all that, we did a lot of work to prepare his room, get the room all clean and scrubbed up and pristine and ready for him. A little bit of personalization, and got the house all clean, and we were very excited. We bought some things to make his welcome sign, and then the night before, we were chatting with him because he was preparing to leave the house and make the trip to the airport. We were watching his flight on FlightAware, his first flight to Frankfurt, and then making sure that he got there on time before we went to sleep. And then of course we woke up the next morning on arrival day, and the first thing we did was check FlightAware to check on the status of his flight, and we got ready and we went to the airport to pick him up, and we were able to get there early enough to watch his plane land. That's how excited we were to welcome him in. And then fortunately at DFW airport, like a lot of international airports, there's only one place where the kids come out, the passengers arriving come out, so it wasn't terribly difficult to find him. Go get him!
Here, you get your luggage there, and so you would pass through international arrival.
It was so hard to find him. Oh! Great, thank you.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you.
Made flight. This is Max.
This is Max. We had the drive back to the house, and of course on the way we're trying to talk to him. We're probably talking too fast. I think that's one of the big things that particularly American host parents, English-speaking parents often we talk too fast. That's one of the big complaints, is that we talk too fast, and of course James and I were very excited, and so we're just blah blah blah. We're peppering him, this poor kid, with questions. Are you hungry? Did you eat? How was your trip? How was your flight? How do you feel? Are you okay? He's wondering who these crazy people are who are talking at him 100 miles an hour. But we got to the house, and the first order of business is to make introductions to the dogs. So he got to meet Merle and Cabby. And then, of course, Max was there because he had arrived the day before. He was staying with us for a few days until Brian and Randy returned. And that turned out to be very momentous. And then and then it was sort of get settled in, show him around the house, show him how things work. One of our big things is Mikasa Sukasa, make yourself at home. This is your home while you're here. We always tell our students, and show him where all the important things are, like the pantry and the fridge, and showed him to his room. And then we gave him some space. Let him just settle down, settle in a little bit, gather his thoughts a little bit. He had to be thinking and speaking in English for that a couple of hours now, and so he just needed a little time to rest, let him unpack and sort of settle into his room. And then we one of the first things we always do, we usually take out-of-town guests, especially foreign visitors. We usually take them to a Tex-Mex restaurant here in Frisco called Hacienda Ranch. Well, we had done that yesterday with Max, and so on this day we ended up going to Heart 8 Barbecue. So that he could get the full experience of Texas barbecue, and that seemed to be pretty satisfying for both him as well as Max. So then, then it's just getting to know you. I think we stayed up pretty late that night, even though he was tired, or he should have been tired and jet lagged from the time difference. But I think he was very excited to be here. Then just the next few days were very much us, just getting to know each other. We took a walk around the neighborhood. The school is very close, so we were able to walk him over to his school, take a walk all the way around the school, just sort of give him an initial introduction to that. We had to get him scheduled into all of his classes because he only had about a week to go. Weekend after he arrived, and just a few days before school started, we took Michael and Max to Schlitterbahn, which is an amazing water park in New Braunfels, Texas, and it's consistently ranked as one of the best water parks in the country. And that's always a big hit, and that particular trip is always a good opportunity. We're taking a road trip. It's only about a 4-hour drive from here, and it gives us an opportunity to really have a chat, get to know each other in a trip type setting. James and I really enjoy traveling anyway, so it gives us an opportunity to see what kind of a traveler the student is, whether they enjoy car trips or not. Michael was always up for a road trip. He might take a nap, but he enjoyed it. And music is very important to me, so we get to listen to music and talk about what they like and don't like and get to know each other. But Schlitterbahn's always fun, and there's always a quick stopover in Austin as well, just to introduce them to the city, which is a place we tend to take the kids a lot. They tend to like it. We like going there as well. That was sort of the first big trip that we did with them, get them all, and it went really well. Everybody had a great time. It was all very exciting for them. Big fun, and Max and Michael got to bond quite a bit on that trip as well, which was very good. And so that was kind of it. That was how we decided to host again. That's how we got matched with Michael. That's what the arrival and settling in was like. Then we had to get him settled into school, and routine sort of took over. There you begin to, we of course would cook different foods for dinner, and we'd take them to different restaurants and talk about all the different things and showing things around locally. Of course, the Star and the soccer stadium. The Europeans are very fascinated by the fact that we have a soccer stadium, Major League Soccer team and stadium in Frisco, as well as the National Soccer Hall of Fame. And then we started to settle into routine. So it was all very good. We were very happy. We were very glad that we decided to host again, and things were rocking and rolling. So next time I'll talk a little bit about sort of the big events that happen, some of our bigger trips, the holidays, different holidays that they get to experience, like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and the school events like homecoming and going to the first football games and things like that. So I'll talk about that next time. Take care.